Hello everyone, I'm makeover76 and this is my 85th ever video. And today is a Draw Your Journal episode. I don't want to take too long in this intro because this video is already ridiculously late and you've been waiting long enough. So you know what, let's just go ahead into it. Okay, so here's my book. Unfortunately, since the last time I've worked on it, I've left it on my floor. And I think water got on it or something, so as you can see, some of the pages are kind of messed up. But I don't mind. I literally almost cried when I found that this happened, but let's not talk about that. Anyways, let's open to the first blank page. If you're new here, I am doing this in order of like one page to the next, so that I can stay motivated to do each page. This page says, draw your home. No extra instructions, so that means it's pretty easy. For this page, I got some watercolor paper because you may have noticed the leaking from the last page. And why watercolor? I just realized that I haven't used watercolors on my channel for a long time. I think the last time was technically before I officially decided to be an art channel. Anyways, here I am sketching where to cut the paper to be the right size for the page. You'll see how precise this was later. And now it's actually time to cut it down. I'm trying to cut as straight as possible. I have to make sure it's the right size. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Also, I thought I'd mark where the bend in the page is so I can be prepared for what's in the crack so it doesn't get awkwardly cropped there. Now it's actually time to sketch the drawing. Now with the prompt, draw your home, you'd expect me to draw my current house or something. But no, I'm drawing my previous house that I just moved from. Why? Because that house is more special to me. Because it's old, like 200 years old, and my great-grandma lived in this house, so that means I was the 4th generation to live in it. Alright, so the sketch is done. Now I'm getting my watercolors that I haven't used in a while, even off camera, and I got my water brush that, disappointed me. Spoilers! I wanted to do a lineless look, so I'm half erasing the sketch because I didn't want that showing through the paint. I started the scenery, which is less accurate than the house itself, because I didn't memorize the exact trees and plants around our house, but it has the general spirit of it. And now actually starting with the house, with the gray of the concrete foundation, and then the yellow of the walls, and the green of the roof. And then the red bricks on the stairs. Why am I saying this like it's a children's show? Red, green, yellow, whatever. As you can tell by how I'm saying these steps, I'm a little upset by how this looks right now. It's so streaky and ugly and ooh. And I'm thinking, whenever I see someone use watercolors, they get a really good, smooth color, even if they say that they aren't as good with it. So I'm basically just desperately trying to smooth out the color by either using water or just more color, but it isn't working. So instead of trying to fix it more in the moment and probably ruin it, I just sat on it for a bit. And when I came back, I decided, I think the problem is the water brush. Like, look, it's way too thin to do what I'm trying to do here. So instead, I just used the water brush to squeeze out the water into the pots, and just use my usual brushes to fill the color. You never betrayed me. Still not perfect, but it's much better in my opinion. So I just kept going. Now I grabbed a water bottle from somewhere, because this problem was out of frame, but the water brush kept like keeping the color like brown. Like there was brown stuck in my water brush. I tried to clean it and it just like could not clean. So I wanted to use clearer water to use a true color of what the paints are meant to be. So I just poured it into the yellow, but that was already dirty with green, so it turned green. Dry that out with a paper towel and try again. Anyways, I'm slowly getting more happy with this page because I keep making the colors nicer and a few more details. Ignore the gray leaking, you see it, the yellow, I fix that later. Now I'm bringing out this poor white paint tube that I'm really trying too hard to keep because the whites got messed up even though I was trying so hard to keep them clean. This paint bottle is still mad at me for trying to get the paint out of it, so after struggling, it did this again. You know what? I think it's time to finally let it die. Such a good paint tube. Gone too soon. I had to use my other white tube for more white areas. because I needed to clean up the straight lines. Now with a pen, I'm adding the railing that is meant to be there because we didn't just fall off the edge or whatever. I made the line white when it overlapped the window, and I actually really like the style of that. And I decided to add some lines to the brick area to look like bricks, and not one red blob. And then I liked that enough to add the shingles to the roof because that's the texture our roof had. And also lines to help with the perspective of the roof, I guess, but they're very not lined up, but whatever, that doesn't matter. And then I got carried away from my original idea, and I just lined the entire thing. Obviously not very precise, but I really like the look, even if it wasn't my original vision. Also, it just makes it more obvious what is going on, especially in that area where the green roof is touching the green leaves. I'm gonna sign it and date it, and yes, I'm satisfied with this. I really think the outline saved it. I don't think I would have liked it as much if I didn't add that. Anyways, let's get this out of the way to get the book in frame. I slathered on some glue and slapped it into the book, and then shut the book to make sure it's fully stuck on there. When I opened it, I wasn't fully sold on if it was enough, so I just put this painted bin onto it, check out this video for that, and I left that for a while. And now we're back, and I'm going to trim the paper to fit in the book perfectly. Remember how I tried to cut to the perfect shape? Well, that was way off. And when I trimmed it to actually be the right size, I lost the entire tree I drew on the left. I want to scream. Which I was very upset about when I first found this out, but then I came to my senses and realized it's literally just a brown line. I don't think anything's missing from that not being there. And now all of these support thingies are dirty, so I went over them with white to make them more pure white. In reality, those things were actually dirty, but I wanted to make it more clean in my artwork. Here's another look at the final page. I was actually very upset when we had to move out of this house, so I'm glad I have it documented in my book. Someone home?
Kenny? Hi.
Okay, now that that's done, let's move on to the next page. Draw your family tree. Now I do have an idea for this page, obviously because I'm doing it, but first I gotta do the background. I picked this color of paint, turquoise blue, only because I haven't used this color of paint at all yet, and I thought I might as well. I put some paper in the book to protect the pages I have already done, and ones I haven't yet, which is most of them. And then throwing a palette into the frame to use the paint, because I was very worried about it leaking through the page if it was too thick, so I was very careful with it to make sure it didn't go through. Let me play in the paint for a second. And look, a satisfying tracking shot. Ooh. As you may notice, this clip was recorded differently than the rest. I just thought I could do with some interest in this because it's literally one solid color. As you may also notice, this clip isn't really that stable because I was holding the camera with my hand. Let's do the other page the way I'm used to, with the camera on a tripod over the book. Okay, now that it's fully covered, let's move it out of the way carefully so I don't mess it up. While that's drying, let's grab this piece of paper to do the prompt. Don't forget what we're here for. Now I grabbed some rulers to draw some boxes that are 1 inch by 1 inch. Now as I'm drawing these squares, you may notice that I just keep going. You may assume that I'm including grandparents, possibly some greats, but no. I'm including only my parents and my siblings.
What?
Yes, I have 8 siblings, so my parents have 9 children total. Now. If you're one of those people that thinks people are selfish for having a lot of children, I will clarify that 4 out of the 9 are adopted, and I was actually the youngest child until we adopted the younger 4. That was just a random detail to go with that. Anyways, I'm sketching out animals to represent each family member. My mother is represented as a panda, because you may know that she likes pandas if you watch the video where I painted a book for her with a panda and other animals on it. Next is my father, who is a giraffe because he is tall. I say this, yet I am the slightest bit taller than him now. And then my eldest sister is a penguin because she is always cold, and fun fact, her boyfriend, who is not included in this because I didn't have room for him, is always too hot. So they really balance each other out. And then my second eldest sister is a cat because she likes cats. I don't know, there's not many other reasons. Now my eldest brother is a monkey because that's what he was called as a child. Then my second eldest brother, I feel so stupid saying all this, is a wolf, because that's his middle name, so I always associate him with wolves. And then there's me, the middle child. I'm a bear, and you'll never guess why. And then my next sibling is a frog, because they've been really into frogs lately. The youngest sister is a red fox, because I was kind of stuck on what to make her, and then I remembered she did a presentation on red foxes recently, so I just decided, why not that? Also, if you want to get technical, she hadn't done the presentation yet at the time of the drawing, but at this time, she has presented it. And the older younger brother is a raccoon, only because I felt like it.
I don't have a reason.
And finally, the baby brother. He's actually 11 now, so not so baby. He's a dinosaur, because he likes those. And I always associate dinosaurs with him. Okay, now the sketches are done. So I have to erase the lines partially, because I'm using colored pencils, and I want to do the lineless look. Speaking of colored pencils, I got these new colored pencils. One, because I've been wanting fancy colored pencils for a while, and two, I somehow lost my Crayola quality colored pencils when we moved back in July, so I needed these for this idea. Let's look at the back. There are 12 colors. Unfortunately, no pink, but oh well. There's this little thing to hang this up at the store, which is weird because this was not hung up when I grabbed it to buy it, so why is this here? Okay, let's cut this open. Alright, so we're ready to use them. So instead of commenting about every single color, I might as well explain something right now. You may be wondering why I've decided to draw all of this as animals. That's because most of my siblings don't want to have their face on the internet, and I sort of feel weird drawing them, because it's like kind of their face, so I don't know if it really counts, I just feel better doing this like this. I did draw my cat sister blue, because she's had a blue hair color for a while. Not currently, but she used to. I also drew my wolf brother yellow, because he's blonde. Alright, so now I'm coloring all of the backgrounds as the person's favorite color. Just for interest, really. Unfortunately, because there is no pink, I had to make my little sister's color red, which is close enough. And before we cut them out, no, I want to seal the colored pencil so it doesn't smudge in the book. I added another layer of Mod Podge off camera for good luck, and now it's time to cut it out, for real this time. After I cut them all out, I got rid of the rest of the paper. Now the book is back, so I can stick the designs onto it. I really struggled to fit 9 1-inch squares in one row in my book, but I managed. Now I'm drawing lines to connect them together. Orange for my parents, because red is usually there when it's a relationship, but I couldn't find a red pen. And then with the rest, I connected with a normal black pen. And I thought it was a little blank on the top and bottom, so I added some extra lines and boxes on top to represent my grandparents. Unfortunately, I didn't draw them as animals too. Sorry, grandparents. But I do think those boxes fill the area on top pretty well. I had no idea what to do with the bottom, so I just left it alone. So I simply signed it and put the date on it, and now it's done. It may not be that visually interesting, but I do like how I've stated a fun fact about myself, which is simply the size of my family tree. And now the ranking time. I'm so sorry that these corners are messed up and you have to look at them. As I explained, some kind of damage happened. The first page we're ranking is font 6, aka the home page. Now this page may not technically be the best quality. After all, I'm not that experienced with drawing buildings, but I can't help but feel joy when I see this page, because of the house. And the crooked lines kind of look like a style. These lines up here kind of bother me, but not really enough to make me do anything at all or change my opinions in the slightest. So you know what, I've decided a ranking for this. Turning back to the index page. Now since I only have these pencils, and not the ones I originally used for the ranking colors, the color will not be exactly the same as the satisfaction meter. I decided to rank this with the green, which means I am super satisfied with it. Which which is a good thing considering how much I hated the first one, which happens to be the page we are on right now. And now for the next prompt, the family tree. Now these drawings are cute. I feel like I could have done better to color them, but this was my first time using these pencils. This part here is unpainted because this page is a little bit ripped here, so I'm worried for it to leak through to the previous page and ruin it. Also, the date is an awkward place, but I'm ignoring that one because it was really hard to find anywhere to put that. Now for its ranking, I decided to give it the lime green because there are some awkward bits, but I still really like it. As you can see, I've only done 7 prompts, and there was a total of 103 prompts in this book. So that's just a quick 96 pages left. I was gonna do a 3rd page, but 2 is all I had time for this week, because last week I was out of the house pretty much every single day, so that really cut down the amount of time I could spend on recording my video. So 2 pages is all you get. And with that, I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you made it this far, and if it's your birthday, happy birthday, and goodbye.